What is up, my friends? Welcome to the MLB Draft preview episode of Flippin Bats. The draft is just a day away. It takes place on Sunday, and we're going to talk all about it. The big names you need to know. I think a lot of people have heard the name Ethan Holiday and know he's in the draft, but there's a strong potential he doesn't go number one in the draft. Where does he go? Who does go number one? We're going to talk all about that. We have top storylines from the draft this year. We have the most recent MLB mock draft that we'll talk through. I'll go through my top 10 picks and who I think gets drafted, talk about each of them, some of the big storylines along the way. A lot of family ties in this draft as well. But it's draft time, my friends, and I am pumped up for this draft. I am here in Atlanta on site. Sunday, I will be there for the draft, interviewing some of the players. Going to talk all about that. I love this time of year. One, I feel like the MLB draft is getting bigger and bigger year in and year out as they've moved it to around the All-Star game, get some more eyes on it, and then it gets televised. And I think we're making big strides here with the draft. And you know what I think helps? I think it helps that we're seeing a lot of teams not afraid to call guys up the next year. Cam Smith, Houston Astros. He was drafted last year. He made the opening day roster. He's the favorite right now to win the AL Rookie of the Year. So I think it helps the draft that you have these names that you see and you don't not hear of them for the next 3 years. You're hearing about these guys very much so the next year. So I love the draft. It takes me back to my draft day. It feels like yesterday, but really it was 2013. I was drafted by the Detroit Tigers in the 14th round. I was playing summer ball in Virginia in the Valley League for the Stanton Braves when my parents came up for draft day, and we all huddled around a room and around a computer at the time because it wasn't televised and waited for my name to be called. Really, really emotional. And I think that's what makes me so excited for this is dream come true for all of these players. So I get really excited for it. There is a lot to talk about this year and a lot of potential stars. So everything you need to know. First up, Sunday. The draft is Sunday night in Atlanta. Day one will be rounds 1 through 3. It starts at 5 p.m. Eastern time on MLB Network. 5 p.m. Eastern, MLB Network. Rounds 1 through 3 will be Sunday night in Atlanta. The Nationals have the first pick. The Washington Nationals have the first overall pick. Last time they had it was in 2010. They took a guy named Bryce Harper. The time before that, 2009, they took a guy named Steven Strasburg. First overall pick, it's a big deal. It shaped the Nationals franchise forever. It led them to a World Series with obviously Steven Strasburg being a massive part of that. So we'll see what they do this year. You know, those two guys were arguably the most hyped up guys in MLB draft history. Steven Strasburg's draft day, his debut ended up becoming what I think is the most hyped debut really in history from the MLB draft. Everybody sort of remembers where you were when Steven Strasburg was making that debut against the Pittsburgh Pirates. I was at my high school beach week, and I remember stopping and watching him pitch there. So Harper and Strasburg were the last two number one picks for the Washington Nationals. Who do they take this year? Nationals have number 1. The Angels are at number 2. The Mariners are at 3. Colorado Rockies have the 4th pick, and the St. Louis Cardinals have the 5th pick. Number 6 is the Pirates, Marlins 7, Blue Jays 8, Reds 9, and the Chicago White Sox have the 10th overall pick. So, top storylines of the MLB draft that you need to know. This isn't going to get the super in the weeds. If we wanted to, we could go through everybody in the draft. But I want to do an episode because I feel like the MLB draft should be bigger. So we're just going to stick to the nuts and bolts, the meat and potatoes, whatever you want to say, we're going to stick to that. What you need to know. First off, when the draft is. Second, the Nationals have the first pick. We're going to go through a lot of the top 10 sort of pick stuff. But top storylines, let's start with who's going to go number 1. That's obviously a big storyline here. Can Ethan Holiday join Jackson Holiday and go 1 overall? Obviously, son of Matt Holiday as well. This kid is a superstar. He's a phenom in the making. He's an absolute stud coming out of high school due the Washington Nationals take him at 1? Could we see Seth Hernandez become the first right-handed pitcher out of high school in history to go first overall? Big name there to keep an eye on. He will go high in the draft. I think certainly top 5. I'll do my top 10 picks later, but he is certainly in the mix for that number 1 overall pick and could make history, breaking that glass ceiling of there's never been a right-handed pitcher out of high school to go first overall. It could happen this year. Could it be Cade Anderson out of LSU? Absolute stud. Dude is ready to pitch in the big leagues right now. There's a lot of uncertainty at the top of the draft this year because right now I don't know if the Washington Nationals know what they're going to do. A week ago, they had a different GM. So there's so much uncertainty when it comes to what happens at the top of the draft, which obviously affects what happens from the Angels on. Mike Rizzo, the GM that was just recently fired a few days ago, had a scouting background. And now all of a sudden, a week before the draft, he's out the door. Mike DiBertolo's the interim GM. And it sort of becomes, okay, well, what do we do here? So interesting what happens with the number 1 overall pick, because as with a lot of years, we're not super certain. There's a lot of studs in the top 10 picks, a lot of future stars, I think, in the top 10 picks, and we don't really know what the Nationals are going to do with it. Next storyline for me, there's a lack of college bats. And what that means is there's a lack of big league ready bats right now that will be taken in the top half of the first round. There might only be 2 or 3 college bats that are taken in the top half of the first round. So in the top 15 picks, we could only see 2, maybe 3 college bats go. Of those names that could potentially, you have Oregon State shortstop Iva Arquette, stud. You have Ike Irish out of Auburn. You have Mark Houston out of Wake Forest, shortstop there. Those are the potential guys. Then there's Brendan Summerhill out of Arizona and the Arkansas shortstop that we saw in the College World Series, Wahiwa Aloy, who's ranked 17 right now. So does he go in the top 15? We'll see. But it's important because if you're a team sitting there in the top 15 and think, oh man, pretty obvious, we need a big league ready bat right now. Well, there might not be a ton. There's not a ton that I think will go top 15, as opposed to normally seeing maybe 4 or 5 in that top 10. I don't think we're going to see that. We have 6 of the top 13 prospects are high school shortstops. That's why we're not seeing a lot of college bats, because a lot of them are high school shortstops. 6 of the top 13 prospects are high school shortstops. Another storyline for me is, what do the Angels do with the number 2 pick? Now, an obvious statement here is, well, it matters what the Nationals do at number 1. Yes, that's obvious. But what do they do at number 2? You have 4 picks on day 1, and you have the number 2 overall pick if you're the Los Angeles Angels. It's the first time in franchise history that you've had the number 2 overall pick. You've had the number 1 overall pick twice. You went Danny Goodwin in 1975, and you went Darren Erstad in 1995, which we all know that name as well. So what do you do here? This front office, this GM, Perry Manassian, has shown a liking to drafting pitching. He very well known in his first draft with the Angels. He came in and said, we have a pitching issue, and he drafted every single pick was a pitcher. And he's sort of kept with that theme. When you've looked at the Angels of years past, it's been, okay, we can hit. We have Mike Trout. We have Shohei Ohtani. We have some studs on offense, but we can't pitch. So what do they do with that pick? Well, I'll talk about it later, and we'll talk through the most recent MLB mock draft and who they have going number 2. But really interesting for me there. I think they can make a big splash at number 2 this year. Corona High School. This is another storyline. Look out for the Corona crew. Corona High School has 4 players among the top 150, 3 of whom will get taken on day 1. Could get taken on day 1. I think 3 will get taken on day 1. And 2 of them are top 5 to 10 picks. You have Seth Hernandez, the right-handed pitcher, in the mix for the number 1 overall pick. I think he's certainly in the top 5. You have Billy Carlson, their shortstop, potentially a top 10 pick. You have Brady Abel, third baseman. He's around that 60 to 65 mark rankings wise. And then you have Ethan Bingaman, who's currently ranked as number 150. Just insane. Corona High School, 4 potential top 150 picks in the draft. So a lot of storylines here to look out for. There's a ton of family ties when it comes to this draft as well. Some big picks, some top of the draft picks, and some names that you'll just recognize that won't get taken super early. But you have Ethan Holiday, who will be the top name of these taken, I think. Brother of Jackson, son of Matt Holiday. You have Max McGuire. Shocker, that's son of Mark McGuire. You have Brady Counsell, son of Craig Counsell. Blake Ilitch, son of Chris Ilitch. Eli Willits, another top pick, son of Reggie Willits. You have Cam Leiter, who's the nephew of Al and Mark Sr., cousin of Jack and Mark Jr. You have Jaden Melendez, who's the brother of MJ Melendez. And then you have Brady Abel out of Corona High School, who is the son of the Dodgers' third base coach. So a lot of names that you'll be familiar with in this draft. A lot of names, in my opinion. We're going to talk about the newest mock draft that was released Thursday night by Major League Baseball. The newest mock draft. We're going to talk our way through that, the top 10 picks. And it's interesting for me. It's going to continue to be interesting because the number 1 pick is not a certainty. So there's names that are potential that have been mixed in with that top pick. You know, there's Cade Anderson, there's Liam Doyle, the Tennessee lefty, the FSU lefty. Jamie Arnold has been mentioned as a potential top pick. Oregon State's shortstop, Iva Arquette, has been mentioned. Corona High School, Seth Hernandez mentioned, Eli Willits mentioned. So do I think it's likely that the Arnolds, Willits, Arquettes go 1 overall? No, but there is a chance that these guys, so there's a lot of up in the air conversation to be had with the number 1 overall pick. Let's get to it with the newest mock draft. The Washington Nationals have the first overall pick. And in the mock draft by Major League Baseball, they have the Nationals taking Cade Anderson. Cade Anderson is a stud. This guy is big league ready right now. He fills a huge need for the Washington Nationals, which is big league ready talent to go with this core that you acquired that all of a sudden put you in position to say, hey, we're a good team and we're almost ready to compete. Well, it's been a couple of years of saying we're almost ready to compete. This fills a big need for them at the top of, potentially at the top of the rotation. At number 2, this newest mock draft has the Los Angeles Angels taking Liam Doyle, the left-handed pitcher out of Tennessee. This is, again, along the theme of what I think the Angels are going to do is, 1, stick with pitching, and they need big league ready pitching. This accomplishes that for them. So Liam Doyle in the newest mock draft going to the Angels. At number 3, the Mariners are taking Seth Hernandez, the right-handed pitcher out of high school, young, superstar in the making, potentially really good talent. If he gets to the Mariners, there's a very good chance that they take him. They like him a lot. And I think just the fact that he's a high school right-handed pitcher is going to potentially scare the top 2 teams away from taking him. So Seth Hernandez going here at number 3 per the new mock draft. At number 4, they have the Rockies taking Ethan Holiday. Obviously, Rockies connections there with Matt Holiday, young phenom Ethan Holiday they have going here at number 4. At number 5, the mock draft has the Cardinals, St. Louis Cardinals, taking Eli Willits, son of Reggie Willits, shortstop, absolute stud, Eli Willits. At number 6, the Pittsburgh Pirates taking Iva Arquette is the new mock draft, what they have the Pirates doing here at number 6. Oregon State shortstop Iva Arquette. At number 7, the Marlins, the Miami Marlins taking Billy Carlson, another Corona shortstop, high school shortstop. They have Billy Carlson going to the Marlins. At number 8, the Blue Jays are taking Jamie Arnold. Jamie Arnold, left-handed pitcher out of Florida State. Again, I'm about to do my top 10. They think he falls down here to number 8. I will have him a little bit higher, but they believe he goes here at number 8. At number 9, Ike Irish to the Cincinnati Reds, catcher out of Auburn, potentially going to be moved to the outfield. I do see that as a likely move. They have him at number 9 to the Reds. At number 10, JoJo Parker to the Chicago White Sox. JoJo Parker is a high school shortstop, stud of an athlete. They have him going here at number 10 to the White Sox. They are locked in on a couple of high school shortstops per the mock draft and what MLB says about him. He may be their favorite of the group. I don't think Willits gets there. I don't think, Arquette's not a high school shortstop, but I think JoJo Parker is going to be the play, or MLB, this new mock draft, thinks JoJo Parker will be the play here at number 10. So we're not going to go through 1 through 27 here of the mock draft, but I do encourage you all to go look at this most recent mock draft. We are a day away. MLB.com, new mock draft. You know what you should do? Just go to Google, type in newest MLB mock draft, and you will see all of these picks, everything you need to know about these guys, and most specifically, 11 through 27, who they have going in the draft. So I'm going to stick with the top 10 picks here, and I'm going to do my top 10 and give a little bit in depth on each of these players and why I think this is what happens. I have some similar to the recent MLB mock draft, and I have some different to this mock draft as well. But let's get to these top 10 picks, and we're going to talk a little bit about them. At number 1, I have the Washington Nationals taking Cade Anderson. Cade Anderson is the lefty out of LSU, and this kid is an absolute stud. He is big league ready right now. 4 big league ready pitches. He's a stud. He's not gonna come out of the draft and immediately go to the big leagues, but I think come 2026, we see him in the big leagues for the Washington Nationals. Look, think about what's happening here within the organization. There's a full overhaul. There's a change. It's ownership saying we aren't winning fast enough. That's the only way you fire a GM with a scouting background a week before the draft. We have to win right now with a core of James Wood, superstar, CJ Abrams, and Mackenzie Gore. What are we doing? We have to go. Well, Cade Anderson is a pick to me that says, let's go get the big league ready arm, lefty, 4 above average pitches. Looks big league ready right now. Think Chase Burns' ascension to the big leagues. He will be there quickly. He is perfect for what the Washington Nationals want to do. So this pick to me says, let's go get Cade Anderson, sign CJ Abrams, extend him long term, grab Cade Anderson. He's in the big leagues next year. Let's end this rebuild right now. Let's end it. Let's accelerate things. So I don't think one of those high school picks fits the build here. I really don't. I think they grab Cade Anderson at number 1. So that's my pick for what the Washington Nationals do. At number 2, the Los Angeles Angels are here, and I think they grab Liam Doyle, left-handed pitcher out of Tennessee. This dude's a stud. And look, what do the Angels like to do? Well, they like to expedite their talent in the draft to the big leagues. Well, you could do that with any of these top lefty picks. You know, Cade Anderson, Liam Doyle, Jamie Arnold is also, I think, a big league ready guy. But I think if Cade Anderson is gone, if Cade Anderson is still there, I think the Angels are going to take him because they're looking for big league ready arms. But if he's not, I think they go with Liam Doyle, a top college lefty. He's a stud. I mean, he's really, really good, throws hard, good off-speed stuff. So I think they go with him here at the number 2 overall pick, and I think he's also in the big leagues in 2026 for the Los Angeles Angels. I feel, honestly, even more confident about that. The Angels just expedite talent to the big leagues. You got the talent, you're going to the big leagues. And I love it. I respect it. I think it makes the draft better. All of it. Anyway, Angels, Liam Doyle, number 2 for me. And number 3, the Mariners. I'm going with James Arnold, another lefty here. So this differs as well from the MLB mock draft. Here's my thoughts behind this. Jamie Arnold is a big league ready lefty. And you might think, okay, well, the Mariners have a bunch of big league ready pitchers. They're already there. They're young. They're controllable. And though that is true, I think this is the first year that we've seen a little bit of a crack in the armor of that rotation. It hasn't been one as healthy as it's been, as dominant as it has. I think there's a world in which at the beginning of the year you could have said the Mariners will be the best rotation in baseball, and that hasn't been the case. So do we see them trade some of that talent that's been in the conversation for a couple of years? We could see that as soon as the trade deadline here in a month or so. So I think they grab the MLB ready arm. I think this team is good. They're ready to win. They need to add bats. But again, those big league ready bats aren't necessarily there in the top 5 picks. And the ones that are, you have Arquette, that's a shortstop. Look, 3 of the top 5 prospects in the Mariners organization are middle infield guys. So you're stacked in the organization with middle infield talent. Yes, you have a guy that you believe is a second baseman, but some other talent that you think can be a big league shortstop on top of having J.P. Crawford. So what do you do there? I don't foresee them going with one of the big league ready one of the college shortstops. I just don't see that happening. Now, another name to keep an eye on here with the Mariners, don't rule out Ike Irish from Auburn. Catcher / potential, I keep saying potential outfielder. I do think he's eventually moved to the outfield where he'll be a slugging corner outfielder with some speed. I could see that as a chance, but I see them going Jamie Arnold here at number 3. At number 4, this is where the Colorado Rockies are. Colorado Rockies. I have the Rockies taking Ethan Holiday. This is where I think he goes. I think Ethan Holiday is the best potential of anyone in the Major League Baseball draft. I think this guy is a future franchise player. I think he's a future superstar, and I think the Rockies end up grabbing him and getting another Holiday there. He'll be loved by the fan base. Ethan Holiday, beautiful swing. Beautiful. Think he's Corey Seager-esque. Shortstop, big shortstop, lefty, beautiful swing, superstar potential. He's committed to Oklahoma State. I don't foresee him going there. 65 grade power. So when it comes to Ethan Holiday, don't think this young, skinny, smaller middle infielder that's an athlete. No, this kid's a stud. He's got 65 grade power. That's out of an 80 grade scale. This is a franchise player. And in my opinion, this player, Ethan Holiday, has the best potential in the Major League Baseball draft. So why don't I have him going number 1? Well, I think the Nationals are trying to do something different. They're trying to win right now. They're going to go get the big league ready lefty that I think is a stud. I think he falls here to number 4 with the Colorado Rockies. Look, also for Ethan Holiday's perspective, I think he could get paid the most here out of the 4 spot as well. It's not like a money thing with the money allotment and the bonus pool. I think Ethan Holiday could get the most money here from the Rockies at number 4. He could get paid the most of anybody in the draft. So go get that superstar player, franchise talent. If you're the Rockies, you aren't close. You stink. Your team is not ready to win this year. You are not ready to win next year. You are not ready to win in the next 3 years. Start over. Franchise, superstar, cornerstone player, young, high school guy. Go get him, build him up to be that franchise player that I think he will be. I have Ethan Holiday going here at number 4. At number 5, the St. Louis Cardinals are here at 5. I have them grabbing Seth Hernandez. Now, I have him falling a little bit further than I think most mock drafts have. The reason why, and I could be wrong, obviously. I just think other teams are looking for different things. I think the Nationals are looking for big league ready talent. I think the Angels are looking for big league ready talent. The Mariners, potentially could grab Seth Hernandez there. I just don't have that happening. I think if Seth Hernandez goes anywhere before the Cardinals, it will be to the Mariners there at that number 3 pick. I have the Mariners going Arnold. I have the Cardinals going Seth Hernandez, the right-handed pitcher out of Corona High School in California. At number 6, the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is where I have Iva Arquette going. If you don't know a lot about Iva Arquette, here's what you need to know. He's a 6'5", 220-pound shortstop out of Oregon State that absolutely rakes. I think he's a great fit for the Pirates for a couple reasons. This is the first college bat that I have going. When I look at the Pirates, I think of a couple things. One, do they even know how to win? It's kind of irrelevant to this draft. Two, if you are doing things correctly, let's look at things this way. You have Paul Skeens, generational talent, superstar, one of the best starts to a career in the history of Major League Baseball. He's a stud. You have Paul Skeens in a rotation. You have Jared Jones that'll be back in a rotation. You have Mitch Keller. You have the makings of what is a very, very good rotation. So then you look and you say, our offense stinks. Who do we believe in? Okay, we have O'Neal Cruz, a 6'5" shortstop as well that we just moved to center field. So, okay, our pitching feels good. We need to win now. Are we gonna extend Paul Skeens? Probably not. We're gonna keep him under control for as long as we have him, and then who knows what happens. I hope they keep him, but who knows? So do we want to win while Paul Skeens is our ace and we have a pretty good young controllable rotation? That answer, hopefully, 100 times out of 100 is yes. So what does that look like? We need offense and we need it now. We need a shortstop. We just moved our cornerstone future star shortstop to center field. Let's go get another one. And Iva Arquette, I think, is that answer. He's a stud, college bat, great offensively, really, really good shortstop. I think could be big league ready come 2026, honestly. So we'll see. The Pirates going with Iva Arquette here. Oregon State shortstop at number 6. At number 7, this is where the Miami Marlins are. I have the Marlins going with Eli Willits here. High school shortstop. This is where I think he goes. Shortstop out of Oklahoma. He's the number 5 ranked prospect. Marlins like him a lot. They're looking at a lot of the high school shortstops that are out there. Potentially Parker, JoJo Parker is on their list as well. But I think they end up going with Eli Willits. This kid is a stud, shortstop, really good defensively. So I see them going with Eli Willits here at number 7. At number 8, I have the Blue Jays going with Kyson Witherspoon. Now, Kyson Witherspoon is a name that a lot of people don't have going in the top 10. I do have him going a little bit earlier here than most just because he's a big arm. He knows how to win out of Oklahoma. And I think the Blue Jays are looking in the mirror saying, well, what do we need? We need an arm, and we need it now. They have a great top of the rotation. But I think they need another. I think they need another arm for depth in that rotation. The MLB Mock Draft has him going at number 13, which is the San Francisco Giants. I have him going a little bit earlier than that at number 8. But this guy is an arm, really good potential, a lot of talent, knows how to win out of Oklahoma. Dude's a stud. I have him going at number 8 to the Jays. At number 9. This is where I have Ike Irish going. I just think this is a perfect fit. Ike Irish out of Auburn is the catcher, college bat. I think this is the perfect fit. In fact, I do. If I feel the most confident about any pick in my top 10, it's that the Nationals take Cade Anderson number 1, the Rockies take Ethan Holiday at number 4, and the Reds take Ike Irish at number 9. Here's what you should like about Ike Irish if you're the Cincinnati Reds. He rakes, and I think he'll be a corner outfielder. End of story. If you're the Reds, you have a rotation that you absolutely love, that you absolutely believe in. Hunter Green, Chase Burns, the future, Nick Lodolo, Andrew Abbott, all-star. Your rotation, young studs, really good for a long time to come, in my opinion. So what do you need? Well, your infield is also pretty stacked. You know, you have CES, you have Matt McClain, you have Noel V. Marte, you have a bunch of names around the infield that you believe in. Where is their weakness? Their weakness is in the outfield. They just need depth. They need help. They desperately need a big bat in the outfield. Ike Irish out of Auburn, catcher that I think moves from behind the dish and moves to a corner outfield spot. He's got some speed. He's got a lot of pop. This guy is a stud offensively. And I think he's the perfect fit. I think if he gets here to the Reds, I think he's the best player remaining on the board. And I really feel confident in this pick. Reds, Ike Irish out of Auburn, college bat. I think that's the direction they go. And then at number 10, the Chicago White Sox are here at number 10. Another name that I have a lot higher than a lot of mock drafts, and it is Gage Wood. The most recent MLB mock draft has Gage Wood going number 20 to the Milwaukee Brewers. If you know the name Gage Wood, or it just sounds a little bit familiar, I have him moving up so far because of the reason it sounds familiar. He is the pitcher out of Arkansas that threw the no-hitter in the College World Series. He punched out 19 guys, no-hitter, mid-90s fastball with some carry. It's a deceptive fastball, good off-speed stuff. 70 grade fastball, again, out of an 80 scale. 70 grade fastball out of Gage Wood. So I think people watch him and say, okay, this kid's a prospect. He's on the draft board in the 20s. What more are we looking for? He's a college arm, 70 grade fastball, good off-speed stuff, good command, knows how to win, big stage in the College World Series, season on the line, and you go out and throw a no-hitter? I think he moves way up the draft board, and I think we see the Chicago White Sox here taking him at number 10. So that's Gage Wood at number 10. So really quickly, overview. Nationals at 1, take Cade Anderson. Angels, Liam Doyle, pitcher. Mariners, Jamie Arnold, pitcher, left-handed pitcher. Rockies, Ethan Holiday, shortstop, best player in the draft, I think. But what will be the best player in the draft? Cardinals take Seth Hernandez, the high school right-handed pitcher. Pirates, Arquette. Marlins, Willits, 2 shortstops. Blue Jays, Witherspoon, pitcher. Reds, Ike Irish, catcher/outfielder. And White Sox at number 10, taking Gage Wood out of Arkansas, the pitcher. So quick side note, the White Sox are at number 10. You might be saying, wait a second. This whole time you were talking, I was thinking to myself, why are the White Sox picking at number 10? And to that, I say that's a great question. The White Sox last year were the worst team in baseball. The White Sox are not at number 1 this year, and they're not inside of the draft lottery picks either, which puts them at number 10 after having the worst record of all time. Why? Well, this is because of the anti-tanking rule put in by Major League Baseball, implemented in the new collective bargaining agreement a few years ago. What that does is it prevents large market teams from being in the lottery in back-to-back years. It's an anti-tanking rule. They were in the lottery last year. You can't be this year, so you're here at number 10 now. It is what it is. You were the worst team ever. Be better. They're here at number 10. So that's what I think my top 10 looks like. Those are some of the big storylines. Who goes 1? Who's in the top 10? What are the big names you need to keep an eye on? A lot of family ties in this draft as well. A lot of names you will be familiar with. And if you're a fan of these teams, the Orioles, the Rays, the Brewers, the Guardians, the Royals, be on high alert for this draft. The Orioles have 3 of the first 31 picks, and they have 6 picks total on day 1. The Rays also have 6 picks total. Milwaukee, Cleveland, and Kansas City each have 5 picks on day 1. So there are 5 teams that account for over 25% of the first 105 picks of the Major League Baseball draft. I can't wait. I can't wait for the draft. Again, Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network. There will be another mock draft that comes out right before the draft, probably Saturday night. But this is the most recent one. Again, All those feelings come rushing back. Draft day changes these kids' lives. It changed my life forever. Drafted in the 14th round by the Detroit Tigers. And from that day on, my life changed forever. Hopped on a plane down to Lakeland, Florida, signed my contract, and was off and running up in Norwich, Connecticut for short season A ball there and for the Connecticut Tigers. What a fun journey that was professionally. I'm still on my baseball journey. And all these guys starts Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network. Make sure you check that out. Thank you all for watching and listening. I am here on site in Atlanta for everything happening over the course of All-Star Week. Friday was the HBCU Classic. Saturday, the day this episode comes out, is the Futures game and the Celeb game. Sunday, the big thing is the draft. I will be there on site for the draft, saying who the top 10 picks are. And then Monday, you have the Derby. Tuesday, you have the All-Star game. And then Tuesday, after the All-Star game, I will be recording an episode down on the field immediately following the game and telling you all about the weekend. I'll talk to players. I'll talk about everything that happened over the week, and I'll bring it to you all from Truist Field, and that will come out as soon as possible after the game. So be on the lookout for that. But we're heading there. We're in Atlanta. My goal with all of this is to make you all feel like you're there with me. So watch out on all my social medias, all Flippin Bats social medias. Everything I'm there for will be documented, and I'll talk to players. I'll put out a bunch of fun stuff. So be on the lookout for that. MLB Draft, Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. MLB Network. Everyone's lives in this draft are going to change, and I can't wait. I love you all. Appreciate you all. Make sure you follow and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. And check out our YouTube channel. We just hit 56,000 YouTube subscribers there and still growing strong. So watch on YouTube. You can watch everything we do. Watch on our YouTube channel. Hop in the comments. Leave a comment. I love talking to you guys in the comments and seeing what you guys are saying. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out all social media. At Flippin Bats Pod everywhere. We're going to be hot and heavy at All-Star Week. There's going to be a lot going on, so make sure you're prepared everywhere possible. But my goal is to make you all feel like you're right there with me, bringing you the content as close and up close and personal as humanly possible. So I love you guys. Appreciate you all. Keep enjoying All-Star Game Week, Home Run Derby Monday, All-Star Game Tuesday, and the draft Sunday night, 5 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network. Thank you all for listening. Until next time, my friends, which will be right after the All-Star Game. Not live episode, but it'll be out that night. Remember, find your bat and flip it. Peace.